再来慢慢念，你们就快点写。阿弥陀佛，大法王。阿弥陀佛啊，就是大法王。辐射群机往西方，两句了啊。昼夜持名专诚念，时刻观想，善思量，一心不乱成三昧，万虑皆空入莲香，顿悟无生佛身现，妙教果位自承当。
So I will read it slowly and then you can write it speedily. It goes like this. The Amitabha Buddha is the Great Dharma King. Universally gathers in all potentials to be born in the West. Morning and night hold his name with sincerity and recite it. At all times in contemplation, think upon it well. When one heart unconfused, you realize samadhi. With all thoughts becoming empty, you will enter the lotus land. Suddenly enlightened to the unproduced, the Buddha appears in person, and wonderful enlightenment is naturally attained.
这8句就是啊，说阿弥陀佛啊，这个大法王那位这个恒谦法师，他给我写信呢，就写师父法王。师父是不是法王啊？这是不一定的，可是阿弥陀佛决定是个大法王，所以说阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛是梵语，翻译过来呢就叫无量寿，又叫无量光。寿无量，也就是福无量；光无量，也就是慧无量，也就是福慧的无量。福也具足，慧也具足了，福慧双圆。所以叫无量寿、无量光。
These 8-line verses praise the Amitabha Buddha, the Great Dharma King. When our Dharma Master Hen Qian wrote to me, he would address me as Master, the the Dharma King. Whether your teacher is the Dharma King or not, it's not for sure. But I know Amitabha Buddha is definitely a great Dharma King. So we say is Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha translated from Sanskrit, it means limitless light and describes his limitless longevity and limitless light. Limitless longevity or limitless lifespan means limitless blessing. Limitless light means limitless wisdom. So both wisdom and blessings are limitless. He's repleted with blessing and wisdom, and they're both perfected. So it means limitless longevity and limitless light.
无量寿能以令众生也得到无量寿，无量光使令众生也得到无量光。为什么呢？佛不是自私的，没有说这个无量寿这是我自己独有的，你不可以有无量寿的。也不会说这个光是我自己的你众生没有分的你谁要是念阿弥陀佛，谁就得到无量寿；你谁要念阿弥陀佛，谁就得到无量光。这无量寿、无量光是人人都可以得到的。所以阿弥陀佛这4个字这就是不可思议。所以说大法王这阿弥陀佛是法中之王，不但法中之王，而且还是大法王你看这厉害不厉害
Limitless longevity means that he can cause living beings to also obtain limitless longevity. Limitless light his limitless light could also cause living beings to obtain limitless light. Why? Because Buddha is not selfish. He doesn't think that he himself can only have limitless longevity and you could not have it. And he doesn't say that, this is my light and you living beings have no share in it. Whoever recites Amitabha Buddha's name will attain limitless longevity. Whoever recites Amitabha Buddha's name, whoever is going to obtain limitless light. Limitless longevity and limitless light can be obtained by everybody. So, in the 4 characters of Amitabha Buddha, there is inconceivability in it. So that's why we say he is the great Dharma King. He is the king. Amitabha Buddha is the king of all great dharmas. He is not only the king among all great dharmas, he is a great Dharma King. Don't you think this is something?
所以念阿弥陀佛的人都是有善根的，没有善根的人遇不着这个法门。你说这个法门多简单就是叫你念一念就可以了，你就念南无阿弥陀佛就可以成佛又不费钱又不费力，你这样能念就可以得到这无量寿无量光。为什么咱们这么一念呢就能得到这个呢？这可是太便宜了对我们一点力量也不费，我们就得到这个法门。
So those who recite Amitabha Buddha's name have roots of goodness. Those who have no roots of goodness will not be able to encounter this Dharma method. You see, this Dharma method is so simple. All you have to do is to recite. You just recite Namo Amitabha Buddha. Then you will realize Buddhahood. It doesn't cost you any money or cost you any strength. As long as you can recite, you will obtain limitless longevity and limitless light. Why is that when we recite Amitabha Buddha's name, we can obtain this? And you would say, oh, this is such a bargain to us. We don't have to endeavor, we don't have to spend any effort, then we can obtain this Dhamma door.
因为当初阿弥陀佛呀，他修种种的法门，也不成功。修这个法门，修几百个大劫，也没有成佛。又修那个法门，那个法门又修了几百个大劫，又不成佛。又修种种的法门，修都是非常的艰难，非常的不容易因为它艰难不容易，所以阿弥陀佛就发了愿了，说我修佛法的时候怎么样困难，我要发一个愿呢，令众生非常的容易就成佛，不要像我那么艰难了。所以阿弥陀佛就发了48愿。这48愿呢，就是普摄群体，所有的十方众生，你只要能常念南无阿弥陀佛，你能念我这个佛的名号，念我成佛这个名号，我决定接引你来成佛。如果你不成佛，那怎么样呢？我也不成佛，我也不取正觉。所以阿弥陀佛发了这么48个大愿呢。所以十方众生无论谁能念南无阿弥陀佛，都和阿弥陀佛呀就深深的结这个法缘了。这个法缘呢就结下来不知不觉就跑到西方去了所以说普摄群集你还不知道怎么到的，我怎么也没买个飞机票，怎么到了西方了？我也没买火车票，也没买船票，也没买bus票，什么票都没有买就到了西方极乐世界了。你说这是不是一个便宜的事呢
And the reason for this simplicity of the method is because when Amitabha Buddha was cultivating the way in his former lives, he cultivated various kind of Dharma methods and had no success. He cultivated this Dharma method for a few hundred great kalpas and did not realize Buddhahood. He cultivated the other Dharma method for a few hundred great kalpas and still couldn't realize Buddhahood. So he cultivated various Dharma methods and underwent a lot of difficulties. So it was truly very difficult. And it was because of this difficulty, Amitabha Buddha made this vow. He said, when I cultivated the Buddha Dharma, it was so difficult. I am going to make a vow to cause living beings to realize Buddhahood very easily. They don't have to undergo the hardship that I have undergone. Therefore, Amitabha Buddha brought forth the 48 great vows. And these 48 great vows universally gathers in all living beings with all potentials. So all living beings in the 10 directions, as long as you can recite Namo Amitabha Buddha, you can recite the name that I have realized the Buddhahood with. I will definitely come to receive you, to take you to the Buddha land to become a Buddha. If you do not become a Buddha, what would happen? It means that I will also not become a Buddha. I will not attain proper enlightenment. So Amitabha Buddha made 48 great vows. So all the living beings in the 10 directions, regardless of who you are, if you can recite Namo Amitabha Buddha, then you have tied really deep Dharma affinities with Amitabha Buddha. And before you know it, you would have gone to the West. So it says, gathering living beings with all potentials. You will have no idea how you got there. And you would say, I did not buy airline tickets and I have come to the West. I have not bought any train tickets. I didn't buy any ticket for the any ferry fares. I didn't buy any ticket for riding a bus. I didn't buy any tickets, and I have come to the Western Pure Land. Don't you think this is a bargain?
阿弥陀佛以前呢，费了那么多的精神，修了那么多的苦行，才成佛了。俺们呢，只要念念阿弥陀佛这个名号，就会到西方极乐世界去。你说这是不是一个便宜的事情？这真是再方便、再便宜的事情也没有了这真是一百草头上总是一了你看这译的太容易了，容易到极点了那么所以说普摄群机
So Amitabha Buddha had used so much energy and have cultivated so many aesthetic practices before he realized Buddhahood. And for us, as long as we recite the holy name of Amitabha Buddha, then we will be reborn in the Western Pure Land. Don't you think this is a bargain? There is no method that is more expedient and more advantageous than this. So we could say that it's easy. On the tip of the grass is the intention of the patriarch or the mind of the patriarch. This is way too easy. It's easy to the extreme. So that's why it says universally gathers in living beings of all potentials.
看我们这儿现在阿弥陀佛每一个人都有一条线好像一个无线电线似的那个你念一句阿弥陀佛那个地方那个雷达就有你一个影子那个地方就现出你了，或者再往前进来说可以说是television就那个传真机就传到阿弥陀佛那地方去了。阿弥陀佛哪一个人念佛他就知道哪一个人的这个心的波就波到那地方去了，这个心的心浪心的波浪就到阿弥陀佛那个地方去了。你看这妙不妙呢那么这叫普摄群机往西方。
So you see, everyone here have a connection to the Amitabha Buddha. You all got a wire to it. It's like this wireless connection. If you recite Namo Amitabha Buddha, then the radar will detect you at the Amitabha Buddha's place, and it will show. So if we, to put this down in a more shallow level, you could say that this is like television. It's like the fax machine. You are faxing to Amitabha Buddha. When whoever recite the Buddha's name, Amitabha Buddha will know that person's mental wave, which is sent to his place. So this is called the wave from the mind. And this wave will ripple all the way to where Amitabha Buddha is. Don't you see how wonderful it is? Isn't this wonderful? So this is called universally gather in the living beings with all potentials to be reborn in the West.
夜持名专成念，昼就是白天，夜就是晚间。那么昼也念南无阿弥陀佛，夜也念南无阿弥陀佛，也就是动的时候也念南无阿弥陀佛，静的时候也念南无阿弥陀佛。动中念的不动，静中念的不静，也就是非动非静。在这个境界的时候，就有多少相应了。
Morning and night, in motion and stillness, all the time you can recite. While moving around, you're reciting. In the morning we recite Amitabha Buddha's name. At night we also recite Amitabha Buddha's name. When we're moving about, you recite Namo Amitabha Buddha's name. And when you're in stillness, you're still reciting Amitabha Buddha's name. When you recite to a point where you're in movement but not in movement, when you're in stillness and not in stillness, it means that it's neither movement or stillness. When you get in this state, then you have some responses. Then that means the telegram that you're sending to Amitabha Buddha has gone through, that you have some responses.
你这个电报给阿弥陀佛打这个电报就打通了。这持名就是专持这个阿弥陀佛这个名号，南无阿弥陀佛南无阿弥陀佛不要把它丢了，不要把它忘了，不要把它不记得了。你能以昼也念南无阿弥陀佛，夜也念南无阿弥陀佛，念的行不知行，坐不知坐，可不知可，饿不知饿，动不知动，热不知热，什么都没有了。这时候念的人也空，法也空阿弥陀佛就变成自己了，自己也就是阿弥陀佛了，分也分不开了放也放不下了。这叫昼夜持名专诚念诚心的念佛，什么妄想也没有了。
Upholding the name means to recite the Amitabha Buddha's name exclusively. You recite Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha. Don't lose the recitation and don't forget about his name. If you can maintain your recitation with undivided attention, morning and at night without stopping, then you may recite to a point that you don't know that you are walking when you walk, you don't feel thirsty when you are thirsty, you don't experience hunger when you are hungry, and you don't know you are cold in freezing weather, and you don't feel the warmth when you are warm. People and Dharma are empty, and you and Amitabha Buddha have become one. Amitabha Buddha is me, and I am Amitabha Buddha. The two cannot be separated. Recite single-mindedly and sincerely without any false thoughts.
什么都没有了。这时候念的人也空，法也空阿弥陀佛就变成自己了，自己也就是阿弥陀佛了，分也分不开了 放也放不下了。这叫昼夜持名，专程念诚心的念佛，什么妄想也没有了，也不想中国现在怎么样了，也不想日本现在怎么样了，也不想印度那个总理是甘地夫人，他怎么样了？这些个用不着的妄想，你打他干什么那么不打这些个妄想，你这叫专持念了。专持念呢，念的今天是哪一天呢？不知道明天是什么日子？不知道念的什么也不知道了，那就到那个妙的境界上了。
So you recite the Buddha's name to a point that you have no more false thoughts. Recite to a point that the people are empty, the Dharma is empty, and you are one with Amitabha Buddha, and Amitabha Buddha is you, that you could not be apart from him, and you would not let go of the recitation. So this is called morning and night recited with sincerity. You recite the Buddha's name with deep sincerity to a point that you have no more discursive thoughts. You don't think about how is China doing, how is Japan doing, and how is the Prime Minister of India doing, how is she doing. You don't have to think about any of these. What's the use of giving rise to these discursive thoughts? If you don't give rise to these discursive thoughts, then this is called reciting with concentration. And when you recite the Amitabha Buddha's name with concentration, you wouldn't know which day today is. You don't know what today's day is. You recite to a point you don't know anything at all. Then you have gone to the ineffably wonderful state.
说那不是愚痴了吗？愚痴就是你要养成大拙方为巧你大办到极点就该巧了。小道如愚始见奇。你看那个颜渊，孔子说无欲回焉，终日不违，入愚，好像个愚人似的。唯利是多退而省其思，以足以发，回也不愚。说是等到他回到他自己那个房里头去我调查调查他，省其思就是我去看一看他以足以发他有所发挥，他就是有新的发明，回也不愚颜回不是愚，你也能小到如愚这个样子这不错的。
So then you say, then isn't this stupidity? In fact, we want you to be dull to the extreme, so one sees the cleverness. So when you're dull and stupid to the extreme, you learn to be as if stupid, and then you'll start to see the wonders. So you look at Yan Hui. Confucius say that I talked to Yan Hui all day. I've spoken with Hui for a whole day, and he has not contradicted me as if he were stupid. But I have examined his actions when he retires from me and found that he puts the teachings into practice. Hui is not stupid. What this means is that when he went back to his house, I examined him, and I took a look at him, and I found out that he actually had some edification that he put put what I said to him into practice, so he's not stupid. But if you can learn to be as if stupid, this is not bad.
讲到这儿啊，我又想起我这个这供高的时候了。我在读书的时候啊，一开始读书读得很慢，笨得不得了，不知道怎么样能背这个书，就 remember， 不知道怎么样。在这个念的本来都记得清清楚楚的，到那个老夫子那个地方，就好像见了阎罗王似的，就都忘了，都忘了。因为这个老夫子啊，拿着好像我们这个香板的那么个香板，真的这么当着你看着你一看他那个样子，已经就喝的那个魂都跑了这是中国的旧小这种的太过了，把小孩子都给喝的不会哭也会哭了那么以后呢，读书入门了就读得很快，我读1个钟头其他人读5天也读不完。这个老师就说你真像验了回似的这看不出来你这么聪明，你这么聪明。我一听他这么样赞叹我就生了一种更高兴。我和颜回一样，我会不会和颜回一样的年纪就死喽？那我也现在就起一个别名，叫什么名字呢？叫入愚子。入愚子那么这就是一个更高的名字。
So speaking to this point, I remember the time when I was arrogant. When I went to school, I was very slow and really dull-witted. I did not know how to memorize any text at all. I don't know how to memorize them. When I read it by myself, I could remember it very clearly. But when I went to my teacher, it's as if I have seen King Yama and I forgot everything. And the teacher would hold a wooden stick, and it looks like our incense board, and he's just waiting for you and just look at you. When you look at his countenance, you're already frightened to death. So this is the old style in the traditional school, and it was a bit over. They could scare children to cry. And after that, I was able to get a hang of studying, and I was able to study very fast. Within an hour of my study, other people would not finish studying it in 5 days. So then the teacher made a comment, said that you are just like Yan Hui. I could not tell that you're so intelligent. As soon as I heard his praising me, I gave rise to arrogance and thought, I'm like Yan Hui. Would I die as young as Yan Hui? So maybe I could give myself a nickname. And what nickname is that? It translated into Chinese, it's like a stupid person. So this is a name with of arrogance.
你念佛能念的，把什么都放下了，入愚，就像一个笨人似的，可不是吃药吃的像一个笨人似的。吃药呢不算，你念佛能念的这样子，那就赫然贯通了，就会开悟的。所以说，昼夜持名专程念。
If you can recite the Buddha's name and put down everything as if you're stupid, just like a dull person, but it's not the case that you become dull because you took some drugs, because you take some drugs. That doesn't count if you take drugs. But if you can recite the Buddha's name to that kind of point, then you will be completely penetrated and become enlightened. So this is called morning and night, uphold his name with sincere recitation.
时刻观想，时时刻刻的观想，观想什么？观想阿弥陀佛身金色啊，相好光明无等伦，白毫婉转五须弥，甘木澄清四大海，光中化佛无数亿，化菩萨众亦无边，48愿度众生，九品显令登彼岸。这观想那个阿弥陀佛呀，这个相好光明，这叫观想时刻观想，不要放松了善思量，你想就要想这个阿弥陀佛这个善境界，不要想这个那个用不着的事情这叫善思量。一心不乱成三昧，你要能到这个一心不乱这个境界上了，就可以得到这个定了得到定了。这一心不乱也就像那个入鱼的样子似的你们跟着我学切记不要学我这个贡高这个法门，我是很贡高的，所以现在我觉得谁都比我好把这贡高放下了，人越比我好我越高兴，我越欢喜绝对我不妒忌人的。为什么呢？人家比你更好呢，当然是好了嘛。为什么要比人家好呢？我不需要比人家好，我比哪一个人都不好，这是我的宗旨
Says at all times in contemplation, that means you contemplate at any point of time. What do you contemplate? You contemplate that Amitabha's body is the color of gold. Splendid hallmark has no peer. With light of his brow shines around 100 world. White as the sea, as his eyes pure and clear. Shining in his brilliance by transformation are countless Buddhas and countless Bodhisattvas and infinite Buddhas. His 48 vows will be our liberation. In 9 lotus stages, we reach the other shore. So you contemplate Amitabha's splendid hallmarks. So this is called contemplation. You contemplate it at all times. Don't be lax. And you think upon it well. So you have to ponder on the wholesome states of Amitabha Buddha. Don't think about useless things. So this is called think upon it well. With one mind unconfused, we will realize samadhi. If you can attain the state with one mind unconfused, then you have attained samadhi. Then with one mind unconfused, then it's just like being stupid. It's just as if being stupid. If you're learning from me, please remember not to learn the dharma of arrogance. I'm very arrogant. I was very arrogant before. So that's why when people are better than me, when they surpass me, I put down my arrogance. The better people are, the happier and joyful I am. I will never be jealous. Why? If people surpass me, of course, that is good. Why do I want people to surpass me? Because I don't need to be better than anyone else. I'm worse than them, and this is my guiding principle.
一心不乱成三昧万虑皆空。这个万虑皆空就是什么忧愁也没有了，什么也不担心了什么念头也都没有了，万虑皆空一个妄想也没有也不忧愁了， 也没有烦恼了，万物皆空，入莲香啊，入到这个莲花的世界去了，莲花那个香村里头去了啊。那么到这时候，所以就顿悟无生啊，即刻就了悟这无生法忍了。就是明白本来的面目了。佛身现，这时候佛的这个法身也现出来了妙角果位自承当，这个妙角就是佛，这个佛的果位，佛的地位自己你可以直接承担了，说我现在也是佛了，不是说你想你是佛就是佛，你这不是想的，佛不是想的你要真正那个佛的法身，真正到这个佛的果位，那才是佛呢，不是说我想我是佛我就是佛，那你想你是鬼你就是鬼所以这要各位要努力来修这个念佛法门。
When all thoughts are empty, when mere thoughts are empty, it means that you don't have any more worries and afflictions, you don't have any kinds of thoughts. When all thoughts are empty, it also means that you don't have any single discursive thought. Not a single discursive thought exists. One will no longer worry and be afflicted. When myriad thoughts are empty, then you will enter the land of lotus. You will enter the world of lotus flowers. At this point, suddenly you will enlighten to the unproduced. It means you will be awakened to the Dharma of non-production and understand your original face. The Buddha appears. At this point, the Buddha's Dharmakaya will manifest, and the wonderful enlightenment is naturally attained. Wonderful enlightenment means the state of Buddhahood. That is the fruition and level of Buddhahood. You can directly shoulder it. You can directly attain it. So then you say, then I am a Buddha now. Well, that's not the case. That when you think that you're a Buddha, thereby you are Buddha. You don't think of a Buddha. You don't think of Buddhahood that way. You cannot say, I think that I am, then I am. You have to truly be certified to the state of Buddha and attain the Dharmakaya of the Buddha, to attain the level of fruition of Buddhahood. Then you can say you are Buddha. It's not the case when you say, I think I'm a Buddha, then I am a Buddha. Then if you think you're a ghost, thereby you're a ghost. So everyone should really work hard to cultivate the Dharma method of Buddha recitation.
今天对你们各位所讲，你们如果能念到一心不乱，万虑皆空，当下就得到好处，当下就是清净所以这个念佛的法门呢，也是妙不可言的一个法门你念到什么样子上呢？念到就好像那个小孩要吃糖似的。这个小孩子他吃过糖了，觉得甜呢，总想要吃尤其吃 他舍不得放下。念佛也要这样子念的啊，就好像吃糖那么甜。不是好像这样子，真是这样子啊！你要是念佛念的有一点功夫了，你这甘露水左一口也喝不完，右一口也喝不完这甘露观音菩萨看这个你念佛念的喉咙干了他就送给你一点甘露水，所以你就甜了，口里是甜的。会念佛的人呢，口里是甜的，但是你也不要只照这个甜的，你要一直照它怎么这么甜呢？它又不甜了这个法就是这么不可思议的，你一思议它就不是这样子了你懂不懂
？So this is what I say to you. If you can recite to a point that you are one mind and confused, with mere thoughts empty, then you will get the benefits right there and then. At that very present moment, there is purity. So the Dhamma method of Buddha recitation is simply too wonderful to express in words. So to what point should you recite the Buddha's name? You should recite to a point like children are eating candies. When after children have eaten candies, they feel sweetness in their mouth, and they always want to eat more because they are reluctant to let go of the candies. When you recite the Buddha's name, you should recite like that. The recitation becomes so sweet that it's like eating candies, or it's not just like that, it's actually that. So if you have some skills in Buddha recitation, then you will not be able to finish drinking the sweet dew here and there. Because Guanyin Bodhisattva is going to see that you have recited the Buddha's name and you are feeling thirsty, so he's going to send you a little bit sweet dew to drink. So then you feel sweet, your mouth feels sweet. People who are reciting the Buddha's name, their mouth is sweet, but you should not be attached to this kind of sweetness. As soon as you are attached to it and think, oh, how come it's so sweet? Then it's no longer sweet. You see, the Dharma is so inconceivable. As soon as you think about it, then it's not like that. Do you understand?
为什么你要一直照它，它就没有了？因为你一直照这个甜，你生出一种贪心，就说我现在就欢喜吃这个，这么甜的，不要买糖吃了这个省一点钱这个菩萨一看你这么精贪，不给你了，所以也就不甜了。你们谁要有这个境界，切记不要想它甜不甜的就是念佛念的越真越好你念佛念的不断了，那就有成就。或者你念佛念的见光见花见佛这都是善的境界，不过你都不要贪着，你要一贪着它又跑了和这个甘露水是一样的。
Why is that when you attach to it, it disappears? It's because when you attach to this kind of sweetness, you will give rise to a kind of greed and say, this is what I like to eat. It's so sweet. I don't have to buy candies anymore and I can save some money. And the Bodhisattva took a look and see, you are so greedy and so stingy. Okay, I'm not going to give it to you anymore. Therefore, your mouth will not feel sweetness. If any one of you has this kind of state, please make sure that you do not think whether it's sweet or not. When you recite the Buddha's name, the more sincere, the more genuine it is, the better. When you recite to a point when the thoughts are not interrupted, then you have some achievement. Or when you recite to a point that you see the light, the flowers, or the Buddhas, these are all wholesome states, but you should not be attached or be greedy for it. When you're greedily attached to this kind of state, the states would disappear right away. It's the same case as the sweet dew water.
那么今天是头一天打气，还有6天，在这个6天的机会也很多，这第一个期还有6天，第二个期呢，那么还有13天，连第二个期，那么很多机会。都会得到一心不乱。不过你也不要懒惰，不要说我很多机会我等慢慢的再得，不要等，尤其晚间大回向这个时候要特别诚心，念佛呀，回向跪那儿念那个观想的文大家特别诚心，至诚恳切，有那么诚心呢，就有多少诚心就放上多少诚心，放上多少呢？万分之万分，不要说100%分，就万分之万分，越多越好，个人呢，在这个打气的期间呢，一定要得到一种利益，才没有白打这个气，不然的时候这么辛苦，一点好处也得不到，那是太可惜了。
So today is the first day of the session. You have 6 more days, and you will have a lot of opportunities during the 6 days. So this is the first session. You have 6 days left, and then we have a second session. So altogether, you have 13 days. You have many opportunities to obtain one mind unconfused. But you should not be lazy and think that you have a lot of opportunities, therefore you wait around thinking you got lots of time. Don't wait. Especially when you do the great transference at night, you should make transference of your Buddha recitation with special sincerity. You should kneel there and recite and contemplate the passages. You should be extra sincere. Be Atma sincere and earnest. However much sincerity you have is however much sincerity you should put in the transference effort. It should be 10,000 shares out of 10,000 shares. It should not just be 100%. It should be 10,000 shares out of 10,000. The more, the better. And everyone must get some kind of benefits during this Buddha recitation. So the session is not gone by in vain. Or else, if you waste your time and you would have undergone all this bitterness for nothing. Wouldn't that be a shame?